Yo, what's good, y'all? MJ here, MJ the Greatest on Instagram and Twitter. Back with this week's video. Just want to shout you guys out again for rocking with me, liking, commenting, subscribing, supporting. I always appreciate you guys. Not gonna waste too much time jumping right into the topic this week. So basically what we're gonna be talking about is new releases. Everything that has to do with new releases. So the process of how I do new releases, how I even get to the point where I'm saying this is a release and it's coming out. Basically all the behind the scenes of any business owner, creator, entrepreneur, anybody that's like offering a product, you know what I'm saying? It's like steps and phases that go into that product launch pretty much. So I felt like this was a good video to kind of jump into, because last week I talked about samples. Once you get a sample that you like, it's like, all right, now it's time to come on with it, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we can get into that today. So new releases, that's also a big hint to you guys picking up what I'm putting down. Definitely some exciting news to announce soon. But as far as new releases go, so boom, you got a sample, you like it, you want to move forward with it, you got all the kinks down, you know, like, all right, this is the product I like, it fits everything I want to do. All right, boom. Now for me, like I told you guys a couple videos ago, I really like to make sure I got all the things like done and set before I announce a new release. I didn't used to do that. I kind of would get excited once I did something that I thought was like dope and I knew that I was dropping. I would be like, you know, I gotta like hurry up and like announce this, which is like no knock against people who do that too, because like I feel like, you know, we can share, express ourselves however we want to. But for me, it was just like I would get frustrated because, like I said before, like I would want to put something out at like a certain quantity or a certain quality, and I wouldn't be able to do it that best way in that time frame that I set for myself by like announcing it early. So that's kind of why I like advise against that now. I just kind of like make sure everything is on the table first, and then I go ahead and, you know, push the chips in, or, you know, make the order or whatever it is. So first of all, that's a good kind of sidebar to go into it too, is like how you do your release depends on how you produce the product. So last week when we was talking about samples, you could have went through like a manufacturer from like China or Pakistan or something like that. Usually their like minimum quality or minimum quantity order is like 100 pieces, or, you know what I'm saying, 150, or depending on the manufacturer, you guys can negotiate that. So you might be getting in the load of that much, or it depends on if it's like a hand good or something you crafted. It depends on how many you feel like making or got the capacity to make. So it just depends. Once you know, like, okay, this is how many I have, then that kind of helps you, it kind of helps you figure out how you want to market it differently too, you know what I'm saying? Because if you know that you have a large quantity of something coming in, you can sort of definitely market it a different way, as opposed to something more similar to my selling style, where it's like I sell in limited quantities and it's sort of like once it's gone, it's gone. I don't really like doing the same things over and over again. So it's like, even if I have something or like a design that you guys like really like, it's hard for me to say that I'm gonna bring it back or I'm gonna do it again, because it's just like I'm not like, I don't want to say like I'm past that, but it's just like I have to keep bringing like new, like I gotta keep, it's like, you know, I gotta keep putting new, like I gotta just, I don't know, it's just something about being complacent that I just can't accept, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, even if something doing like really well sales wise or whatever it is, it's like once it's sold out, it's sold out. I'm not against like doing something in a different way, like bringing something back and like putting a new twist and spin on it. Like, I'm not against that. So you guys might see some stuff like that in the future. But as far as like going back into like an old bag and like doing something that I already did again, it's pretty much not gonna happen. So anyway, depending on the quantity that you got, whether, you know, got it through like a large manufacturer where you ordered a lot, or it's something handmade where you made it yourself and you only know you got the mental capacity to make this amount, or however you do it, right? So that's aspect of it. And then another aspect of it too is like, you can even do like the method in which you release it, right? So some people like to do like a pre-release method. So basically they'll have the product, they might have got the sample, they liked it, or they made it and they know like, okay, I like this, it's dope, I'm gonna put this out to market. Some people just post that and be like, all right, I'm taking pre-orders, I'm taking pre-sales, you know what I'm saying? And you can, as those orders come in, you can start to fulfill them as they come in, as opposed to ordering in bulk ahead of time or making in bulk ahead of time, where you have basically inventory that's kind of ready to go at time's need, whenever you might need it or whenever somebody might request it. So it's different ways. Like, there's no wrong way. I think if you are putting out products, or you're experimenting with products and different product methods, especially if you like fluctuate between like manufacturing and handmade and all that different type of stuff, like, I think you should try it all. Like, try all the different type of methods, because you never know which one could work for you. Like, I personally like to have more of my like items and products on hand, just because I like to be able to service my customers as fast as I possibly can and as efficiently as possible. And sometimes when you go through like other mediums or other channels, the time can kind of slow up a little bit. And like I said before, like, we're only in control of what we can control, you know what I'm saying? Once it's out of my hands, it's literally out of my hands, you know what I'm saying? So I try not to get like too controlling about that, but like, it's insofar as I can control the situation, I control it pretty much. So I know how I mentioned to you guys last week about like a Printful and a Printify. Those are two really dope sites for samples, but you can also use them for like that, like I said, that pre-sale method or that pre-order method that I was telling you guys a second ago about. The only thing about them is they make the products as the order comes in. So the only problem with that is sometimes as the consumer, the person buying the product, it can take a little bit longer in the supply chain than I personally, as the, you know, owner and person wanting to sell you the product, like, would like, you know what I'm saying? And I can't really be in control of that, versus where if I have the product already made in my possession, I can mail it off as soon as you order it, or I can go deliver it to you if you're local whenever you order it, you know what I'm saying? Like, just being able to have more control over things like that. And sometimes you're not going to be able to have control over it, and it's just always good to just keep that center of mind that you can only control what you can control. Don't try to overextend yourself, or don't waste energy on stuff that you wouldn't be able to do nothing about anyway. Like, you can't control if it's a mail strike. You can't control if it's like a weather storm, or if it's, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't even waste your time worrying about it. So I guess like I wouldn't say frustration, but the kind of like, I guess, concern is like, obviously I want to just be able to service you guys as best as I can and as efficiently as I can always. So if an order is taking long for you, I also feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm also like pissed off too, because I'm like, I know if it was in my hands, or if I knew that I could do something about it, I would. But when I put, you know what I'm saying, sometimes when I'm put sometimes in situations where I can't do something about it, I just got to remember that things are going to work out how they're supposed to, and just have faith in that, and know that, you know, that's what it is. And sometimes you got to do that. But like I said, I personally have kind of backed off that method. As far as like mass producing, I still use them for samples, but like, I like having quantity and stock in hand so that I can ship it off right when I need to ship it off, or I can deliver it to you right when I need to deliver it to you. I can pull up to a pop-up shop or a show whenever I need to. Like, I like having it product on hand for specific reasons like that. That doesn't mean that I'm always going to be riding around with a car full of stuff, but it does mean if I get an order in this place and it's local and I have the quantity and stock in hand, I can make that delivery, you know what I'm saying? And I like that more than somebody in a warehouse pushing a button who might not be as enthusiastic as I am about shipping your order out, being in control of that, you know what I'm saying, if that makes sense to you guys. So okay, we got a product, we know how much quantity releasing, we know we are either directly releasing it or we're pre-sale releasing it, pre-order releasing it, boom. So you got all those things decided. Now that all this next is to just put it out. I know that sounds like super, just like, voila, put it out, like super basic, but depending on whatever you working on or whatever you putting out, you can just put it out. But I'm not gonna, like, I don't want you guys to be naive to the fact that, you know, marketing is definitely important. I'm working on my marketing skills myself. Like, I have to, you know, do better at that, you know. But my thing is, like, I like to be hands-on with a lot of my things. I think I told you guys that before. Like, I like to be hands-on in my marketing. I like to be in a directorial seat when I'm doing my photo shoots. Like, I like to also be a model when I'm doing my photo shoots. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like to just have my hand played in all different aspects of what I got going on. So what for me now is basically just like figuring out how to creatively market. You know what I'm saying? Like, take my creative ideas and my creativity and apply that to marketing. So as I continue to release products, as I continue to grow, that's something that I'm still working on too. But I am not afraid to push the button. You know what I'm saying? I'm not afraid to just put it out. That's one thing I don't want you guys ever to get stagnant on, is like holding on to something for so long because you feel like it's not perfect, or you can still touch this up, or you can do that. When you're doing anything, selling anything, putting anything together, announcing something, organizing, like, you have to put yourself out there in some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Or else you'll never see what's on the other side, and you'll always just be thinking about it. But I know if you're watching this, you are not one of those people that's just gonna think about it. I know if you're watching this, you want to see what's on the other side, because you're a go-getter. All right, y'all. Peace out. Catch y'all next week.